Hey guys, welcome back to the third episode of the Coughy Show. My name is Mike. I got Eric with me again today.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
So first off, we want to announce that we just got notified that we won Best of Omaha for Vape Store. So big thanks to everybody for taking the time to vote for us. And as promised, we'll keep you updated on when and where we're going to do this party to celebrate that at. And we'll jump into some CBD news. Shenandoah, Iowa held a conference to teach farmers about hemp farming, and apparently it was pretty popular. They were only expecting 40 to 50 people to show up, but it jumped to 150 plus. So what they're telling them here is you could potentially do about 35,000 an acre doing hemp, whereas if they're doing corn with current prices, they're only making something like $635 an acre.
Yeah, and it looks like too with cotton right now, because I feel like they're pretty similar with hemp and in different forms of agriculture. With cotton, the price after for an entire acre, they make about $114.32 after all of their expenses that they would have in the growing.
That's insane, dude. For the amount of work that they do, that's a paycheck a week at a basic job.
You have to farm a lot to make any money if you're only getting $114 for an acre. That's around 572 pounds of cotton.
Crazy. And then we've also got some information from the DEA. So hemp has been fully legalized with the 2018 Farm Bill. Again, as long as it has less than 0.3% Delta-9 THC. So the DEA making this announcement doesn't change anything. Basically, they're just sending out a notice to local law enforcement around the country through their bulletins, letting them know that they can stop wasting their time fighting hemp.
Yeah, that's a good one, especially for the small businesses like we talked about last week that are still constantly fighting over, selling CBD and having CBD, as long as, like you said, it meets that requirement of the 0.3% Delta-9.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think that local law enforcement would be keeping up on this news on their own. I mean, the DEA did announce it last year, but I guess they just didn't do it through their normal bulletins.
It's almost like they pick and choose what they want to read from the DEA. Certain right. Things, they're like, yep, we're going to read that and make sure that that's the problem. And then they see hemp, CBD, things like that. And they're just like, yeah, we'll worry about it next year. We'll look at it later.
Let them tell us directly.
Yeah, it always goes to the back burner.
So next up, we've got the first hemp-powered plane. And it's actually made out of hemp, too. This is a company out of Canada. And it's a real plane that holds a pilot and 4 passengers that runs 100% on hemp oil.
Yeah, they say using hemp is 10 times stronger than using steel. I mean, it's definitely not the first company to use, hemp to actually make a hard plastic for things. Obviously, Raw does it with its rollers and a lot of their smaller accessories.
Right.
But it's insane to think that you could have a plane with a wingspan of 36 feet that would run on hemp and is made out of hemp and is still lighter than using anything like aluminum or fiberglass.
Yeah, it's baffling. I mean, yeah, I knew that the plastics have been made out of it for a long time now, but for it to be able to fully run on hemp oil as well, so you can just grow some stuff out of a field, build an airplane out of it, and run the airplane on it.
And it has almost no environmental impact when you look at steel or carbon fiber.
Yeah. We're going to put Boeing out of business.
Make it a Boeing 420 if they make it out of hemp.
Yeah, Boeing 420.
727.
So next up, a legendary tight end from the New England Patriots was in the news. Rob Gronkowski, talking about how beneficial CBD was for his pain and his recovery. So he's actually planning on launching a line with another company for all natural fitness oriented products to help people maintain an active lifestyle while getting a regular recovery.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he said in his little press release, like the NFL and MLB, all of them, they really need to get smart and change it with not letting people use CBD as far as recovery. But if somebody were to go in and get, a prescription for Oxycontin or some pill, I don't understand how they think that would be, a better solution than using CBD.
Right.
When, we see all these athletes that 10, 15 years later after they're not playing anymore, then a lot of them have substance abuse issues because of the time that they did play, and all it was prescription for this, prescription for that.
Right. And ideally, like we had mentioned, was that in last week's episode about the PGA? Hopefully with seeing an organization of that size going to allowing CBD, these other sports organizations will kind of look at that as an example and see that this is going to be beneficial for their athletes. I mean, if you want to get the best performance out of somebody, you have to give them the opportunity and the products or nutrients, whatever you want to consider it, to aid in that recovery.
Yeah, it's strenuous, playing, and it's hard on the body. So if a salve is going to work better than, even taking ibuprofen all day, I don't know why that would never be considered better for, for the people, because it's not like they're going to get high from it. Especially like he said, the salves and the lotions,
right.
You're not going to be high from.
They're getting higher from the Oxycontin.
Exactly.
So next up, the USDA has announced that they're going to let farmers qualify for federal crop insurance with hemp in 2020. So we've seen this firsthand with a few farms having issues with things like I know hail is a big one, or smoke from fires in places like California and Oregon that normally have wildfires. So this will give them the option to get up to $8.5 million back from that insurance policy to, keep their farms going.
Yeah, I mean, look at Nebraska last year. This last year, all the flooding that we had, that's definitely something that's going to help. We had more flooding this last year than ever I could remember in my life. So it's good that, it helps them to actually say, we're growing something real and legal if they can qualify for that insurance.
Right. It's good to see, like we mentioned, the DEA earlier, and now the USDA. So it's good to see these big government entities finally standing up and standing behind hemp, because the consumer's still extremely confused, because the news can be very confusing. It's confusing for us sometimes on where exactly it stands in the eyes of the law.
Yeah, I hear a lot of different things from a lot of different people. So you get the DEA, USDA, these entities that have been around forever that people know and trust. That makes a big difference, and it also gives them, a little bit more ground to actually say, hey, this is what we're doing. The DEA said it's legal. USDA says we can insure it. We're not breaking any laws here as long as, you're hitting that 0.3% or less.
We're in no way endorsing that you trust the DEA.
True. True. Still cops.
So next up in some, this isn't Omaha CBD, but Nebraska CBD news. We spoke about this before, about them having trouble discerning the differences between hemp and marijuana. So here's another article that's reassuring people that as long as you're getting caught with small amounts of either of those two, you're not going to have any issues. They're not bothering to prosecute these cases, and this is coming from the state capital.
Yeah, I mean, obviously when you get into these people that, have pounds and they're transporting large amounts of CBD or anything else, then I could see, you're going to have that concern. But you look at somebody that's got, 3.5 of CBD, at least they're not going to spend 3 years in court fighting over it and lab testing it, and, it's just a waste.
They said that these changes since May have already affected or halted about 60 cases that involved a marijuana charge.
Gets bigger, like they say, if you look at speeding, possession, other things as well. Even the Nebraska Husker players that were recently cited, they can't be charged for it because it's the same, it applies to everybody.
Right. So always good to see this kind of stuff out there. You know. So for our product this week, we want to announce that we've got some CBD dog treats from our friends at Fully Activated CBD. These are, what are those dog treats? 20 milligrams?
They're 4 milligrams a piece, 10 treats.
4 milligrams a piece, and there's 10 treats per bag. So definitely come give those a shot. Fully Activated is our favorite CBD company by far, so I would definitely recommend any product that they've got out there.
Yeah, they're organic and gluten-free as well.
All right, that's all we got this week. We'll catch you next week.